me, when you look at all of the negative side effects of the pill, it's like, why the fuck are we on it? And it's sold to us as this like feministic. It's the pill is sold to us as this feminism, women's empowerment, we can control our cycles. And I'm like, no. And actually I saw a article the other day. I can't remember who wrote it. It was in, I think, Cosmo. I was so appalled by it. It was an article about, yes, you can safely delay your period. And you know how they were telling you? To get on the pill. And this is an OBGYN that's written this article that is telling young girls that, yeah, you can delay your period, making it it's this whole marketing stunt in my mind of we're making it seem so sexy and alluring and attractive and, desirable to move your period, because we're still telling ourselves a story of we hate our periods. It's shit having a period. I'm going to be really frank with you guys. Is it always ideal to have a period? No. Do I want to have a period on my wedding day? No. Like, ideally, I really don't. Or like, when you're traveling and you're on a plane and you get a heavy period, like, is it ideal? It's absolutely not. But is it worth, do you think it's fair that marketing is constantly selling us the story that our periods are always painful, are always inconvenience, are always bad? No, because then we believe those things and they become our reality. Versus when I healed my relationship with my period and with being a woman and my cycle and femininity, and I stopped hating my period and I stopped seeing it as an inconvenience, but rather I saw it as a natural rhythm, as a natural part of my life, of something that I got to use to support me in slowing down, in cycling, in not just my hormones, but my productivity and in my rest and in my exercise, and allowing myself to not do the same thing every day. When I saw that as the benefit of it, when I actually realized the beauty and like the nature moving through my body, it completely changed my relationship with my period. Doesn't mean I love having it all the time. That's not what I'm saying. I get that it's an inconvenience, but I'm not hating on it and making me feel like I have to shift my period all the time. Like, are we going to try and choose a date for the wedding where hopefully I'm not on my period because I'm going to like look that far in advance? Yes. But guess what? My cycle could shift every day for the next, year and a half, and I get my period on my wedding, whatever. It's not really a big deal. But I just thought that it was so alarming that we are still selling young girls the story that our periods are an inconvenience and that we should be shifting our cycle. If your periods are painful, are debilitating, if you have humongous mood swings, if you are bleeding through your jeans, I relate because that used to be me. For anyone that doesn't know, when I was in school, I used to wear a super tampon and a maternity pad, and I would get in trouble for going to the bathroom so much during classes. But if I didn't go to the bathroom, there would be blood literally in the seat, like the classroom seat. My periods were debilitatingly heavy. I would sit on the toilet. I remember I would sit on the toilet with my laptop and I would sit and do homework on the toilet with my laptop as blood would just pour out of me because I was so sick of having to change my tampon and my pad all the time that I would just decide it's easier to sit on the toilet for 2 hours to just give myself a little bit of peace from having a fucking surfboard between my legs. So I get that. And now I don't have that at all, right? Because no one taught me back then a doctor's solution was to go on the pill. And my mum didn't know any better. No one taught me back then, oh, Monica, you have estrogen dominance. Oh, Monica, you have, a huge amount of inflammation in your body and that's causing all of this period pain. Like, oh, Monica, you don't have strong levels of progesterone and like your circulation is off. No one taught me all of those things. So I really want you guys to know and pass on the information that period pain is common, but it is not normal, right? Let me break down what is actually normal for you in your cycle before we jump in. What is normal for you in your cycle is for you to be a little bit more lethargic right before your period and when you're bleeding. I'm on my period right now, right? And so when I'm on my period, I'm not exercising as much. I will often exercise in the afternoon rather than using up my energy in the morning. I will try and wear like comfier clothes and comfier pants just because I like it, right? It feels just more grounding and nourishing during that time. I prefer to go for walks rather than do an intense class. If I was to go to a Pilates class and do the exact same class in ovulation versus in my luteal phase or on my period, I would find the Pilates class 10 times harder in my luteal phase or on my period than in ovulation. Um, I find sex a little bit more tender, as most people would, like when you're bleeding. But I have very, very enjoyable sex. I have orgasms, I can let go, etc. when I'm on my period. It's just that we are a little bit softer to begin with, to allow my body to relax and everything. Because of course you're a little bit protective at the beginning because you know that it's a bit more sensitive down there. During my luteal phase, I am ravishing all the time because I have a really good, strong level of progesterone, and progesterone boosts your metabolism. So that's why you're burning through food more quickly. So it doesn't mean that you have cravings. I don't have cravings, right? Cravings are often a result of a hormonal imbalance and your brain is wanting serotonin. I don't have cravings. I have intense amounts of hunger and it drives me up the fucking wall. So we always have to pack snacks. Always have to pack snacks. I will also just find that I am a little bit more tired, especially in that second half of my luteal phase. And I don't want to go out. I don't want to talk as much. My communication isn't as good. Like, I find that if I'm sitting down to record a podcast, for example, in my luteal phase, I can't get my words out and articulate as well, versus if I'm recording a podcast at the end of my period, like I am today, and in my follicular phase and ovulation phase, I'm doing a really great job at it, and it comes up with a lot more ease. That is my cycle. That is a normal cycle, right? So if you were to look at those kind of symptoms and changes, it's an ebb and flow. It is not a stark up and down. Nothing is debilitating my life. Nothing is wreaking havoc on my productivity or anything. It's a simple, just slight fluctuation in how I want to show up that day and how I'm feeling in my body in terms of my energy levels. That is literally it. That is normal. Everything else, every PMS, ridiculous cramp, back pain, insomnia, hair loss, ridiculous bloating, all of those things, not normal. Oh, the other thing that I will say is normal, but also, maybe reduce your inflammation levels a little bit if possible, is if you have like heaviness in your womb on the first day of your bleed. That's normal. I find if I've been traveling and under a little bit more stress on the first day of my period, sometimes I can get just like heaviness in my womb. I'm not going to be wanting to wear like a tight dress, to go out to dinner that night. I'm going to want to really take it easy and just relax a little bit more. And there can just be heaviness, but there isn't pain. I'm not in pain and I don't need to take any painkillers or anything. Okay. So I hope that helped you guys to actually have a clear idea to compare your cycle with, of what's actually normal, not what we have normalized with the media that isn't fucking normal, and allowing more and more people to think that them being sick or their body being in a state of dis-ease is okay, because it's not. Whilst I appreciate that the conversation around PMS and periods has become more normalized because of us talking about these things, just because a conversation has become more normalized doesn't mean symptoms and problems should become more normalized. Okay.